that's kind of pointless. Anyway, I guess I answered your question.
Okay, it was a dumb question.
It wasn't a dumb. It was entertaining. But weight cutting, you know, what I was saying was I got really tired, and you know what? As I got older, so going back to the 145, 138 example. So the 145er, if Trent weighs at 145 and he's got to wrestle a guy who's 152, let's just say, you know, the guy's going to lose 6-7 pounds. They're reasonable. You know, it can be done. Definitely in high school, there's some guys that lose more than that. There are, but a guy can still reasonably be pretty strong if he's just 5, 6, 7 pounds. And then when you lock up with a guy, have you ever felt that before?
Yeah. When I was younger, I would. Like freshman year, when I wasn't as strong.
And sometimes it makes that little bit of a difference. And so they're looking for any advantage they can get. And that's what it's about. It's about getting that advantage. But it's really important that you guys don't pick a weight class that makes you reach for it so much
that you get weak,
and it hinders your performance. And that's something, and you know, a lot of guys are different. It's different from person to person. I've coached wrestlers now for 23 years, you know, 23, 24 years now I'm going on, because I started coaching right at 18, right out of high school. I've coached kids that they cut 3, 4, 5 pounds and they just fall apart on the wrestling mat. And like they cannot keep it together. So with those guys, do not cut weight. So if you find out that your performance drops drastically, then don't do it. It's not worth it. And I've also seen these guys, man, they look like Skeletor. They're like sucked up. They look horrible on the scale. And what is it? They like throw down a little bit of water, Gatorade, and some food, and some oatmeal, and then they walk out on the mat and they just start kicking the crap out of everybody, and they look huge, and they bounce back. Some people can bounce back, some guys can't, you know, and that's really an individual thing. You got to find out what's better for you.
I personally would not recommend cutting weight, because to me, it like makes you like always think about food and water, and I hate that. You're like
should be focusing on wrestling
training
or jiu-jitsu
or jiu-jitsu or whatever you're doing. You don't want to be focusing on the cutting all the time.
It destroys your mental.
I would think,
and
you want to
hate the sport too.
You want to be at the best version of yourself. Like, what is your happy body, right? You got runners that run and they get a runner's body, really skinny legs, this and that. Then you got swimmers and they get the really big upper body, and you got like on and on and on all the different body types. Wrestling, grappling is probably like the most balanced type of human body, because you're using all your different muscles. But there's like a happy place where your body wants to be at. I would think logically that's where you want to wrestle.
I would say also, in answer to your question, this is really important. You know,
was that really insightful?
Yeah, that was great. That was perfect. It's going to set up what I'm about to say. Wrestling and jiu-jitsu, for that matter, it's one of the only sports that I know of, or these type of combat sports, where you can be just about any body type you want to be.
That's for dang sure. Because
when you cannot be an overweight swimmer, and you cannot be a little 100-pound football player.
Yeah.
Like for not only is it's I don't want you to get me wrong. It's not just because we have weight classes. Like there's guys in Trent's weight class that are like almost seemingly a foot taller than you, right?
Yeah, but they're beam poles.
Yeah, and they can still wrestle.
Yeah.
Some of them, because they have their style. Yeah. And then you've got guys that are shorter than you.
Yeah.
They're short and stubby. I mean, a lot of people think that all wrestlers are like short and stocky, because they see guys like, what's a good example? I mean, people would know in MMA.
Dan Garrett.
Spencer Lee, Austin DeSanto.
Yeah, but like let's pick MMA, like a Frankie Edgar, or you know, Michael Chandler. You know, Michael Chandler with the big knockout. You know, they'll look at a Michael Chandler, they go, that guy's a wrestler, but then they don't know that we have people like Evan Wick, or John Jones. And look, John Jones, one of the greatest MMA fighter wrestlers, and guess what? He's not built like Michael Chandler. I mean, they look totally different. Yeah. So that's like something to talk about too.
Well, in the jiu-jitsu world, same thing. Even just guys at the gym too.
Short and stocky.
Brian Meyer is you know, I told him, I said, I feel like I could take his wallet out in the parking lot, you know, for lunch money, because he's so skinny.
He's
he's
just
stronger than crap, and he's super flexible.
We call him Mantis because
call
he
him
looks like a praying mantis. He's skinny as hell.
Yeah, but he's strong. He's freaking strong.
Yeah.
And he's fast and he's flexible and he's a hell of a fighter, and he doesn't tap to anything very easily.
Yeah.
So then
you get wrestling and jiu-jitsu, you can be any body type, and you just got to make it work for you. There's stocky jiu-jitsu guys like Cyborg, and then there's tall and lanky guys, you know, like who's tall and lanky? There's a whole bunch, but Keenan Cornelius. You know, people know about Keenan Cornelius. I mean, you got the lanky guy versus the short, stocky guy sometimes. Anyway, so cutting weight, not good. You say it's not good. With your vast experience.
Here's my vast experience. Yeah, is you want to get to your body's happy spot. Somebody said, Coach had one of these videos where it was like he was showing how to take down a 260-pound guy. Some a-hole on YouTube said, that guy's not 260, he's 220 and needs to lose 40 pounds, which is actually very insightful of that a-hole, because that's probably where my body actually wants to be. Because, hey, right now I'm 250. If I was 220, I'd be a monster. That's actually where I want to be, because I get in my own way.
Yeah,
I get in my own way, and then there's a scramble, and the other guy stands up first because of gravity and shit like that.
Yeah, and sometimes guys will drop weight classes, and they will restructure their body type. Like Trent said in the beginning, sometimes in order to get down to that weight class, you have to lose muscle.
Yeah, that's not good.
And it but let me say, it may not be good, but it might better your wrestling.
Yeah.
Sometimes it just depends. It depends. I wouldn't think that it's good personally, but I know that some guys wrestle really good because now they got all this length and they're hard to wrestle. And it really depends on the matchup of who your opponent is too. Some opponents, they just cannot wrestle tall dudes. They struggle with the length, and the same thing vice versa. You struggle with these little short, explosive, quick
Tall
dudes.
is hard.
So,
explosive is hard.
Yeah.
Fast is hard.
You know,
Strength is
I want to get into on the weight cutting subject. I want to get to this thing that I always have to teach my high school wrestlers. Before I get to that, almost got ahead of myself. What I say on cutting weight, guys, it's kind of what you said. So you said not so good, but let me say this: just don't do too much. If it's within striking distance, and it's just, if you can train, focus on wrestling, like Trent said, and you can diet properly, not drastically where you're feeling horrible. Drink tons of water and you're hydrated, and you can get your weight down within striking distance where it's just a couple pounds, and you can kind of lose that with not feeling like crap, and then you can't sleep and all that. And get on that scale and then get that quick swig and feel nice and good, whether it be 2 to 3 pounds bigger. That's your nice sweet spot. Nobody likes to be 2 pounds under or 3. What if you're in the middle of the weight class and you're just like, you're giving up? Now you're not only giving up the weight to your opponent who went over the weight class, but you're also giving up weight to the guys that are right at the weight. There are people like that, and it's not the end of the world if you can make up for it with technique.
Yeah.
But the perfect thing to do is to find what's best for you, what your tolerance is, and how your body reacts. And that's the answer. Now, I want to talk about, how do you do it? How do you cut weight? I want to say what you don't do. You know what you don't do? I always tell Trent, and I always tell all my wrestlers, get your sweatshirt and your sweatpants, and if you guys are wearing sauna suits, get that crap out of the room, especially on a Monday, on a Tuesday, on a Wednesday. The guys are competing on a weekend. We'll have a tournament on a Saturday or a Friday, and then kids will show up on a Monday, chewing gum, hood on, totally got layers of clothes, and they're like, they're treading, they're like jogging in place, and then when we're trying to work techniques or drills or wrestle live, they're worthless. They don't wrestle. They barely can do anything, and their partner doesn't get a good workout. If their partner's not, unless they're both like that, then they both just lay on each other, and they're basically losing weight by causing their body to heat up. They crank the heaters in the wrestling rooms. This is very common in many wrestling rooms. especially all the old school guys.
This is like hot yoga.
It's just stupid. Guys, listen, this is old school mentality that is wrong. You don't need to do that. I was in school and I was doing it. And finally my partner, you know what he did? He got so fed up with me. I had a really good training partner, Juan Roman. And Juan finally got fed up and just said, take that shit off. You know, get that sweater off. I can't even wrestle with you. You're worthless. I took this sweater off. I could go to the bathroom, get a quick drink of water, you know, get a quick drink of water, take a little break, freshen up a little bit. And then when I come back in the room and I was wearing my t-shirt, all of a sudden t-shirt and shorts, I started wrestling. I started to realize I wasn't so hot. So I could actually focus on the wrestling. And you know what heat does? It drops down on performance. Just think about how good would you run if I made you run like 5 miles?
That's like a car or a motorcycle.
Exactly.
Or a lawnmower.
How good are you gonna run if we're gonna run 5 miles and then we put you out in like 110 degree heat?
No.
Like your body's gonna shut down, you know? And I don't even have to go that drastic. How about just like 90 degree heat? I mean, and you're running. I'm not saying you want to be in a cold, ice cold room where your rubber band's gonna be all cold and you're gonna pull muscle. Yeah. You want to be warm, but you don't want to be so hot. You create people wearing sauna suits and all this trying to sweat, and especially on a Monday. What are you doing? Yeah. You're losing water weight, and what are you gonna do after practice? You're gonna drink some water. So what does it matter? I'm like, you know what it's about on a Monday? It's about getting a good workout. It's about working on your technique, becoming a better athlete, and then you want to burn calories. I go, you're not gonna burn calories in the heat. Your body sweats to deal with the heat. You know what your body does in the cold? You shiver in the freezing cold because you have to generate heat on your own, which burns more calories. Right. It's so wrong the way so many people have done it. Now, when you get through the week, you know, and also drink tons of water. Drink tons of water, guys.
Yeah. Yeah, because when everybody knows, when you're not drinking water and your body's used to getting stressed out and dehydrated, then when you do drink water, it holds onto it like a camel, right? Yeah. Versus if your body's like, I trust you, you're gonna keep me hydrated. We're friends like that. Like, then when you drink a bunch of water, you're just gonna maintain the same levels. Yeah. You know, that's hydration fact.
Yeah, it's a total fact. And like, you know, let me give an example.
Does the nurse videotaping agree with me?
I completely agree.
Oh, there we go. Thank you.
Okay. So, you know, in MMA, you have a day before weigh-in. Let's say you have a day before weigh-in. And a lot of those guys, they know that they can weigh in and then they can bounce right up. Now, I'm not going to talk about drastic. I'll say it. Look, a lot of MMA fighters, they're losing a lot of weight. When they weigh in, they go up 25 pounds. They'll go up to 20, to some, depending on the weight class, even 30 pounds bigger than their weight. And it's because they're doing day before weigh-ins. And for safety reasons, they're giving them more than 24 hours nowadays. So they're actually able to just do it more. But the doctors right now, the school of thought is saying that it's better to give them more time because now by fight time, they are fully hydrated. That's
they're in a happy place.
That's their argument is that, and because they don't want to get concussions while you're dehydrated. The CSF, the cerebral spinal fluid in your head, they don't want that, your brain sloshing around.
Same thing for your kidneys and everything like that. You know, you don't want dehydrated organs.
Right. So that's their reasoning. I don't know that it is true. I don't know the science that they've actually done on it.
I'll buy it.
It's one or the other. It's either that or they got to get the weigh-in so close, which they're never going to do. They got to get the weigh-in so close to the event that people realize cutting weight's not good. I'm going to be weak. So guess what? I'm only going to lose 2 pounds, 3 pounds. It's just, if I had to step on a scale and then walk right in the cage and fight, they won't do that. But if they did do it, guys, the first guy who cuts 6, 7, 8 pounds to make weight, he would have to walk in the cage, and then the moment halfway through the first round, he would realize he can't fight. So they would everybody would stop cutting weight. That's one way to deal with it, but they're never going to do it. So they take the opposite approach, and then they're doing it way out, so they get lots of time to rehydrate. Anyway, some fighters do crazy drastic stuff. Let's say you're an amateur MMA fighter. let's say that, you know, you don't want to do anything crazy drastic, but I'm going to put it out there. You're going to lose 10 pounds. 10 pounds, that's a nice even number. And you go, okay, I'm going to go from 165 to 155. Okay, so from 165 to 155, you're like, all right, you show up on a Monday, your event is going to be on, let's say, Saturday, and your weigh-ins are on Friday. So on Monday you come in, and you know what you do? You go, let's get a good sweat. So you put on all your clothes, you get a good workout. And I know some guys lose more weight than this, but let's say they lose 5 pounds of water at the practice. So they lose 5 pounds, they're now from 165, they go to 160. And then what happens after practice, Trent? They have to drink some water, they gotta drink something, so they drink some back. So what they do is they look at the scale and they go, well, I wanna keep losing weight. So they eat a small portion of food that night and they drink some water and they drink and eat themselves back up to, like, let's say 165. So they're like, all right, I went right back to 165. And then what happens? They go to bed, they drift. Overnight, you end up drifting. You gotta pee. We're always losing weight.
You're exhaling.
We're always exhaling moisture. We're always, losing wet. Yes, exactly. You still do that? Okay, so you're always losing weight. So you wake up the next day, let's say you drift 2 pounds. Okay, so the next day you're actually 163. So you're like, I lost weight. Now let's just say that now we're coming up into practice, you're 163. Let's get a good workout. It's Tuesday. What do? You sweat out another 5. So now you go from 163 and now down to 158. So now you're 158, and then what do you do after practice? You eat a small amount, you're eating small portions, you're drinking small amounts, and then you go back up. You go from 158, let's say you go back up to 63, and you repeat the process. But this time, when you drift the next morning, you only drift 1.5 pounds. Your body's starting to lose its water weight, little by little. You're actually just rationing it out. You're like taking it out little by little over the course of the week. And so as you get closer and closer, and you keep repeating this, you think you're losing weight because you look at the scale. And really what you're doing, performance is going down, your energy levels are going down, your weight's going down, yeah. And then you finally get close to your weight class. And then now it's within striking distance, as I said before. If it's a wrestling, this is what high school wrestlers will do. I know I said day before weigh-ins. With day before weigh-ins, you could literally bounce back up. But let's go, I know I'm kind of switching stories, but now let's say you got to weigh in the same day. Let's say it's an amateur event where you got to weigh in and then compete. Maybe an hour or 2 later, 2 hours later, or even 3 hours later. Now, you get down to that weigh-in, and you weigh in, and it's hard to even suck out the last 2 pounds. Your body holds on to the water, and now you can't get the last 2 pounds out. And you're going, I don't know what's going on. I lost 5 on Monday, I lost 4.5 on Tuesday, I lost 3 on Wednesday, and I lost 2 on Thursday, and now I can't even lose 1.
It's called the law of decreasing marginal returns.
Is that what it's called?
It's actually called that. That's a real thing.
Okay, it's a real thing, guys. Did you know that was a thing?
I think it's economics. I don't know that class was more.
Thank you. Hey, that's what that is.
Okay.
Dang. Trent knows more than a freaking
high five.
I've been out of school too long. So, you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Your body, and I'm telling you what you've done to your body, you've ruined it. All week long, your body is just hating life. The more you do it, you're weak. You're weak. And I know everybody goes, it's not good to drastically lose weight. But let me tell you this, picture this. You're 165. You lose 5 pounds at practice. You eat and you drink up unlimited water. Unlimited. I don't care if you go to 170. If your portion sizes are correct, and you can drink unlimited. You can hyperhydrate. You can, not to a point where you're hurting your body and killing yourself, but drink a lot of water, drink a lot of water. Carry around your gallon jug, drink a lot of water. You know what you'll do? You'll notice right away, your practices, your workouts will be better. You will actually perform better because you are hydrated. Yeah. The water doesn't matter on Monday. That's why I take that sweatshirt off. Take the plastics off. Tuesday, get another great workout. Keep eating. Make sure that you're hydrated. We need water. Always do that and do it all throughout the week. And I guarantee you, your weight will come down within striking distance of whatever it is. And if striking distance is 6 pounds or 8 pounds, then that's what it is. And then guess what? You're better off getting in that sweat. If you could sweat out 5 pounds and you're within striking distance, you sweat out the 5 pounds that last right before the weigh-in. Sometimes we do it night before because they got to weigh in the morning. But if your weigh-in's in the afternoon, man, do that workout and sweat it out right there. If your body's in shape, it's okay to work out the day before your event or even the day of your event. It is okay. As long as you have a decent, now maybe not jiu-jitsu tournaments, but a decent amount of time to recover. Your body will adapt better because once you sweat out that 5 pounds, you're not dying. You know what kills you? Is sweating out 5 pounds and trying to hold it overnight till the next day and then only giving yourself a little bit. You'll actually step on that scale and your body will go, gung, 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 gung. You'll drink it all back and you'll feel okay. You give yourself a little couple hour rest, you're fine. As long as you're in shape, you'll be fine.
Yeah.
And so many people don't know this information. This is very important information to know. And I'm not saying to do anything.